Okay, everybody, if you can hear me, let me know that you're there. If you can hear me clearly, if I'm loud and clear. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I think we're good to go. We're good to go. We're good to go. Welcome back to class. Welcome back to class. Um, we're almost getting there. We're almost getting there. Just a couple of more lessons, and then we'll be done with level one, which is amazing, is beautiful. I'm gonna ask everybody to say something for 20 seconds. Maybe we start with Hagar. If you can say something. Are you there? How was your week? How was the break? Are you all right? Great. Thank you. Thank you, Hagar. It's good to hear from you. Let's go to Angie. Okay, beautiful. Uh-huh. Shayon. Awesome, awesome, awesome. That's good. Please, everybody, make sure if you haven't finished your previous lessons, you finish them. We agreed you should be finishing them immediately after so that it doesn't pile up, and prevent you from joining. We'll check why the system was keeping some of you, uh, locking some of you out. We'll check that, but the system is automated. So if it's locking you out, there must have been something that was not completed from the previous. But we're good to go. Yeah. So today we're going to be learning something very uh, crucial in terms of personal development. Today, I want us to learn about emotional regulation and stress management. Very, 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 very pivotal lesson for where you're going. You're going to refer to these notes. I can guarantee you that. And you will realize as you go into the future, you will require a lot of these lessons. You will require to go back to the notes and refer to them and check. By the way, I advise you the way successful people behave or build their lives is if they are faced with something new, for instance, 2026, you find yourself in a stressful situation, you don't start to research that time. You go back to where you have learned. What you have learned, you build from there. Always increase in knowledge. Increase in knowledge. Don't always be looking for new knowledge. Always increase in knowledge. What was the last instruction you had? Can you build on that? You know, that is how you grow. 90% of other people are always looking for new things, new information. That is behavior that is congruent to addiction. You're always looking for a high. But consistent people, you go back to what you learned yesterday, you look at it and check where have you gone off. Then you build from that knowledge to new knowledge. So this, because you've learned this, the next time you need emotional regulation, stress management, you go back to this because this is the lesson you're learning. So you go back to this, you refer to it, and then you build from there. So I'm gonna be, pouring out my heart about this because I feel that, especially the people in this class, These are lessons that God has prepared for you. God is preparing for your future. He's preparing you for that future. And it's going to be a huge, huge, huge blessing when you know what to do before the future comes. The UK, this country, and you know, UK is a template country for many other nations, is moving towards a future that is shaped by purpose, big dreams, and very bold entrepreneurship. Okay, so because there's a generation that is coming into the scene, the Gen Z and the Gen X, as they come into the scene, there's a way they think, there's a way they process, and when you read them, when you study them, you can tell what future is about to come into the scene. And the future that is coming, the years that are coming, 5 years, 10 years, and now that the AI is here, is going to accelerate that pace, is the future that is shaped by purpose. You're going to be required to know your purpose. And in 2026, I'm going to be spending time teaching you about purpose, because you're going to be requiring yourself to understand purpose. What is your purpose? How do you discover purpose? How do you know if you're in your purpose? Because life is about purpose. If you're out of purpose, you become a slave to the people who know their purpose. Okay? So the generation that is coming is going to be defined by purpose, by big dreams. You're going to matter if you have a big dream, and you're going to matter if you're entrepreneurial. Are you a businesswoman? Are you a business-minded man? You're going to be a leader in the pack if you think in those three terms, the pillars of purpose, big dreams, and entrepreneurship. And what I see in this country is a lot of timidity, a lot of people who are looking for to get employed, to toe the line, to submit to the system. There's a lot of that. Is the cultural, setting, the traditional setting in the country. The timidity in the UK will soon give way to a very courageous young leaders. Okay, it's gonna give way. Situations are gonna force people to step out of that timidity and begin to think according to that pattern that is coming. It's the global thinking pattern, and so it's important for me to prepare you for that before it comes, so that you are not behind and being led by other people who have prepared themselves ahead of time. This coming shift in society will reward people who know how to think clearly, how to build effectively, and how to compete with ideas that create real value. You have to be able to create ideas that create real value. We're not raising you to be slaves. No, we are raising you to be leaders, to be influencers, okay? We are raising you to be opinion shapers and society shakers, okay? So we have to give you an army with the right tools to be able to get ahead of the pack. You will not look for jobs. Let me just tell you ahead of time. You're not the kind of people who will be looking for jobs. You're the kind of people who will be creating jobs. We are preparing you to create opportunities. You will design opportunities. And for you to be ready for that future and be driven in it, you're not going to be a survivor. We cannot raise you to be a survivor. You will have to train your mind, stabilize your emotions, and build a level of inner strength that can carry the weight of leadership in that era. Okay? So, guys, I want us to travel today into that future together and begin to adapt ourselves and prepare ourselves emotionally, psychologically. Don't be happy to live comfortable. You're not the comfortable type. You're the one that God is depending on to create a reality that other people will fit into. Okay? So you're going to be the opinion shaper. You're going to be the person that goes ahead of the pack to path find. So in this class, our purpose is to position you ahead of that game. We want to position you ahead of the game, ahead, far ahead. Today, as we learn, you will realize in the next couple of years that you're 10 years ahead of people. because of the way you will be reasoning, the way you'll be ready, the way you'll be able to be muscle trained. It's called muscle memory. You begin to react in ways you didn't know that you are ready for when that situation comes. So right now, if you can describe, I can describe to you where you are in life. I can say that you're transitioning into responsibilities, and this is the right time to train you. But once you step into responsibility and high level leadership, nobody cares how gifted you are if you cannot regulate yourself. That future is going to require you to regulate yourself. Talent without emotional control is liability. Okay? If you want to be respected in the future, you should not just be looking at having talent and skill and qualification and education. You must begin to gain another soft skill, life skill called emotional control. If you cannot control yourself emotionally, you become liability. And liabilities are the people who are low level in a team. You're not a team player if you don't have self-regulation, okay? You have to control yourself. In real life where things matter, pressure exposes who you truly are. Stress levels, it reveals your real capacities and capabilities. We're not training you so you can get paid well for completing tasks, okay, Lenny? We're not training you and mentoring you so that you can just finish tasks and you're paid. No. That's for untrained people, okay? And you are trained. We are training you now so that we are separating you from people who can finish tasks and assignments. We are training you to people who are emotionally resilient. We are training you to get paid for offering clarity under pressure, having composure in crisis, and the ability to make decisions when everybody else is crumbling. The year 2020, I remember my wife and I, we looked at the situation when everybody was being pushed and shoved, and the system was demanding everybody, you must get vaccinated, everybody, you must do this, everybody, you must do that. And there was a lot of fear. I remember everywhere you looked, it was fear. If you drove on the road, it looked like the earth had been vandalized, vacated. It looked like a horror movie. It was looking like at every corner you might see zombies coming out. It was looking horror-ish. Everywhere the malls were vacated, everybody was scared. And I remember we sat down calmly with my wife and we made decisions at that time. That's the time we decided to begin Jubilee Christian Church. When everybody in the earth is panicking, nobody's traveling, nobody's talking to anybody, everybody's in masks, everybody's trembling. Oh, I don't want to be caught with COVID. People are dying, the TV, the news, everybody. It was like an introduction, table of contents to hell. We sat down. We made so bad decisions. We're not going to do this and this and this. We're going to do this and this and this. And today, we live in the reality we created during crisis. Can you imagine that? So, in crisis, if you can contain yourself and not panic, you create the future that other people will feed from. Imagine if during that crisis, we did not sit down and create this reality. We would not even be having a mentorship school. You would not even be knowing us. There would not even be Jubilee Christian Church. We created it in crisis. You see, emotional regulation while everybody is panicking is your gold. It is your superpower when you can be calm when everybody is running. Okay? So that's what I'm going to teach you today. Emotional regulation. It's not just a soft skill. You need to survive life's brutal episodes. No, it is a core leadership weapon. If you can't govern yourself, you will never govern a team, a budget, a vision, a relationship. You have to govern yourself. So today I want us in this session to strip away the excuses. Okay? So today I'm going to come really into your space. I'm going to strip you of every excuse that you have had, every self-protective coats and masks. We're going to pull the masks. We're going to remove them, we're going to face everything as they ought to be faced, because we are training you to be elite performers, and we want you to stay steady when the stakes are high. So we will learn how to read the stress instead of getting crushed by it. You will learn how to stay clear, calm, and strategic when your emotions try to sabotage you. You'll be looking at people while they are getting sabotaged by their emotions, and you will be riding the wave of emotions that is crushing other people, and you will be appearing as the lion in the wilderness, in the jungle, the king in the jungle. So if you master this lesson, you position yourself ahead of your peers. If you ignore it, your ceiling already becomes visible. So how do you emotionally self-regulate? How do you manage stress so that you remain in charge, in control, while everybody else is losing it? I want us to look at those lessons, okay? So number one, you have to understand that your nervous system is your real operating system, okay? Your nervous system is your real operating system. The nervous system is the communication network inside your body. It's like the wiring system that sends signals between your brain, your organs, and your muscles. There's a system in your body that connects your brain to your organs, all your organs, and your muscles, okay? So that nervous system is not just waiting for you to think so it can send signals. It is a system by itself, okay, that is sending signals without first waiting for you to think. Let's break it down. It controls so how you feel, how you react, how fast you think, and how your body responds to stress. Okay, I want you to visualize what we are learning. So the nervous system is your internal wires. The internal wiring system is like the circuit board. It carries every signal that keeps you alive. Watch that word. It keeps you alive. It carries the signal that keeps you alive, focused, or calm. If it carries the signals that keep you alive, that means if a situation is threatening your life, the nervous system will not wait for you to reason. It will keep you alive and wait for you to reason later. It's very important for you to notice that, because the nervous system then overrides your thinking to keep you alive. So if you're in a situation that threatens you, your brain does not kick in immediately. There is a system that kicks in. It's called the nervous system. When your nervous system senses safety, it keeps you steady and clear. Okay? But when it senses danger or pressure, it prepares you to respond quickly. See that? So your nervous system can be trained. It needs to be trained because it can put you in situations your thinking did not permit or vet. Okay? It affects your ability to think under pressure. It shapes your emotional reactions. It influences your confidence. It determines how well you handle stress. If you cannot command your internal state, your nervous system, you will never command a room, a team, or a company. Every leader you admire has learned to control their internal state on demand. You must be able to control your nervous system on demand without thinking, because it overrides your thinking. You see, it overrides your thinking. So you have to learn how to control it on demand, subconsciously, muscle memory, without you thinking about it. If your emotions control you, your potential then is limited. Period. Is limited. So if you stay calm you will think clearly. If you think clearly, you will choose wisely. If you choose wisely, you will create advantage for yourself. Being on top of your nervous system is a skill that you must develop sooner than later. How well you control your inner world determines how successful you become in any field. You cannot rise above your self-control. Okay? Yeah. You have to be very, very, very deliberate about controlling your nervous system. He who, the Bible says, is slow to anger is better and more honorable than the mighty soldier who rules and controls his own spirit, than he who captures a city. If you can control your nervous system, the Bible calls you better, stronger, wiser than the man who can capture London. You see that? So even the Bible is telling us that there is a system in you that you need to take charge of. And the Bible is not calling it your mentality. It's calling it your internal state, your nervous system. So be very cautious about your nervous system. And we will see in the coming points how to take care of that. So be aware that there is a system that is sabotaging you. There is a system that is circumventing your thinking. There is a system that is betraying you. And you have to learn how to manage it so that it introduces you correctly. Number 2, stress is data. Your stress is data. Your stress is feedback. It is not an enemy. You should not look at your stress as an enemy that you need to conquer. No. Your stress is data you should be reading. It is feedback that your body is giving you. Stress does not come to threaten you. Stress is not there to destroy you. Stress is simply your body sending feedback to you about what matters, about what is off, and what needs your attention. You see that? So if you're stressed, you should not look for a quick fix. You should read your stress calmly. Look at your stress and read it like data. We use stress as feedback. We don't panic and make bad decisions because of stress. If you're stressed about something, don't react, and we will see why you shouldn't react. You should read your stress. We don't run from stress. We study it. Why am I stressed? Why is my heart racing? Why am I tense? I just met this girl. Why am I so tense? Read that stress. Analyze it. That's data. Okay? Why am I having sweaty palms? Why am I having an upset stomach? Why is my mouth dry? Ask yourself those questions. Don't discard that feedback. If your mouth is dry in a meeting today and you analyze and feed and study that data, that study is what will make your mouth never be dry again in another meeting. But if you ignore it, you haven't learned anything from that mistake. So stress is data. We read it. Average people panic when they are stressed. They run into addiction and pleasure. They disconnect from that and connect from something else. They ignore stress. They ignore that feedback instead of studying it. High performers read stress and extract information and study that information and use that information to improve themselves. Okay? So stress tells you what matters, what is off, and what needs your attention. If your relationship is stressing you, you don't dump the person. You sit and discuss what is causing the tension. Study the tension. The tension is the problem. The girl is not the problem. Study the tension. Separate the problem from the person and study the problem and get feedback and use that data to improve the relationship. If you're not making enough money and you have financial stress, you sit back and study your money behavior and habits and trends. If I give you 5,000, it hits your bank tomorrow morning. The first thing you buy can tell me about you. If within 2 weeks you have burnt through 5,000 pounds, that tells me something about you. The immediate stress that will come after that is the most critical data you should sit with and study and say, why am I stressed? Yet last week I had 5,000. Study that stress. Use that stress data to determine your financial vision for the next 20 years. You see that? So behavior is adjusted from studying stress. If you treat stress like an intruder, you lose. Treat it like a dashboard and you win. You see the way you drive a car and you look at the dashboard, you know you're driving at 70 miles per hour. You see, oh, this light has come on. What does this light mean? Instead of panicking, read the light in the dashboard. If it's check engine, why are you panicking? Just park the car and see the check engine has just come on. The car can still drive, but there's an engine light. So let's study the engine light. Let's call the mechanic. There's an engine light. Would you please drive over? I'm on M25, exit 25. Come, I've parked by the roadside. Come with your gadget. Let us read this data. The car is stressed. Let's study the stress. He will tell you, oh, your oil level is low. You add the oil level, and the car can serve you for another 10,000 miles before the next MOT or service. Instead of panicking, use the stress as a dashboard and read it. Treat it like a dashboard. Every stressful episode has a cause. What is the cause behind the stress? Your workload could be misaligned, or you're being unrealistic about your goals. Your boundaries could be infringed because they are unclear. There are people who are intruding into your private space because your boundaries are unclear. Make your boundaries clear and the stress goes. Your expectations are clashing with reality. Adjust them. Don't say reality is against you. No. Adjust your expectations. Manage your expectations. Your values are being crossed because you have allowed people who have no values to come and infringe into your values. You see, stress has a source. Study the data to know how to relate with the source of your stress. Number 3, master the 90-second rule. Very crucial. Study this rule. Master the 90-second rule. A strong emotional wave, means your body releases an outburst of chemicals that create the feeling of anger, panic, fear, or frustration. If you do nothing, that surge of emotions fades within 90 seconds. It fades, it goes away. So every emotional outburst, somebody has insulted you. Shayon, you're walking in the streets of London and somebody throws a racist tantrum at you, a rant at you. Your heart, in that emotional outburst, there is a burst of chemicals that create the feeling of anger, panic, shame, fear, or frustration. That burst of chemicals lasts 90 seconds. The problem starts when your mind adds storylines to that emotional outburst. So that anger that has happened, that attack, that initial burst of chemicals, if you begin to add storylines to it, it goes beyond the 90 seconds. Which are the storylines? You begin to replay the insult. You imagine the worst outcome. You build a narrative around the feeling. One person has been racist to you. Now you are thinking about the entire Caribbean community, how they have been oppressed from 1906. Why are you adding a storyline to an emotional outburst? You see? There's 90-second window for you to escape the chemical outburst that damages lives. This fuels the wave if you add the storylines, and it turns a 90-second emotional spike into a 90-minute, 90 days, or even a 90-year problem. Can you see that? Imagine The British people, thinking in their thinking 200 years ago, in their reasoning, they don't know geopolitics, they don't know how to human rights, they are archaic, they are wild. They go and colonize Africa. They find this man, the first man they find, the first thing they do is to kill him because they want to intimidate the entire community and bring their rule. And that incident, 90 seconds, determines the next 200 years of relationship between Africa and Britain. What could have been solved as a murder case becomes an international crisis situation that spans over 200 years, shaping geopolitics, making people bitter against each other for hundreds of years. Why? Because to a 90 seconds situation, storylines, insults, imagination, and narratives were added, and a 90-second emotional outburst is now 200 years old. You see that? You have to learn that window, because it's created by God, that 90 seconds window is how long the chemical outbursts of emotions last. Okay? There are extended families, I can tell you, who are suffering today because of their great-grandparent, who felt maybe their grandmother was dumped by the love of their life, for the love of her life. And that betrayal, that rejection, shaped how she raised her children. Those children raise other children, those children raise other children. And because a woman was dumped 150 years ago, down by the river next to a mango tree, you, in 2025, because of a breakup that happened 150 years ago, you're suffering because you are raised by a bitter, angry great-grandmother. You see? So you, as a leader, you have to know how to drive the future within 90 seconds. You have to learn how to drive eternity using 90 seconds window. God gives you that window to determine outcomes. And that is why you're in this class today. These 70% of leadership mistakes are caused by this. If you do not know how to manage that. How do you manage it? You wait 90 seconds before deciding, reacting, replying. Calm down for 90 seconds. You will realize the guy who was being racist to you was actually one among 66 million people who was having a bad day. Probably he was hungry. Probably you didn't know how to communicate with him. Probably you are too tall, dark, and handsome, and you threatened to take away his girlfriend. If you just waited for 90 seconds. Now, let's flip the script and say he attacks you like that. You don't wait for 90 seconds. He has logically, rightfully attacked you. You are logically, rightfully upset. And now you physically attack him and hurt him, injure him, probably kill him. You go to jail for the rest of your life. But if you waited 90 seconds, there would be no police, there would be no death, there would be no prison, there would be no lifetime in jail. Your life, a reality. You see, I told you on Sunday that in the invisible world, all realities exist together. But you choose from this physical realm the reality you choose. This 90 seconds, when you come down during an emotional outburst, you're choosing a reality. You see? So for 90 seconds, don't react. Don't decide anything. Don't reply. Okay? If they tell you somebody has been murdered, calm down. Calm down. Chill. If the girl dumps you, chill. 90 seconds. Don't respond. Even you. I knew you were going to leave me. No, why are you reacting? Chill. Relax. Let her continue talking. Let her talk. 90 seconds. Chill. By the way, within 90 seconds, after 90 seconds, you will have the most intelligent response. You will know whether to walk away with your dignity. You will know what to say or not to say. You will know what to tell God. You will know whether to cry or to compose yourself. You will know to give you clarity. You will have absorbed that data and read it, and you will have known what to do. You understand? Leaders don't react, they respond. And every response must be done after 90 seconds. You hear me? All right, let's go to number 4. Don't manage emotions by suppressing them. Manage them by naming them. We don't suppress emotions, we name them. Okay. So pushing emotions down does not make you strong. If you're feeling emotional, Cheyenne, it doesn't make you strong to push it down, because when you push it down, it makes you unstable. Okay? If you suppress it, most of the people you see reacting today, people who are not behaving normally, it is trauma that is locked in their body. Even diseases is trauma that was locked in the body long ago because it was not processed the right way. Okay? So you do not suppress your emotions. You name them. Name them. Because if you don't, it will make you unstable. The feeling you bury becomes the feeling that blindsides you later. Leaders fall not because they feel too much, but because they refuse to face what they feel. You have to face what you feel. Don't ignore it. Faith is not ignorance. You have to table what you feel. What do you feel? You feel hurt? Yeah, say, I feel hurt. Yeah, I feel rejected here. I feel betrayed. I feel low confidence. Name the emotion. Naming the emotion is the quickest way to take the heat out of it. If you can identify a problem, you have solved half of it. So, what is the emotion? Name it. Name it. Name it. Don't always be moody. What makes you moody? Name it. Yeah, don't just tell us you're introverted. No. Don't tell us you're melancholic. Don't tell us you are introvert. No. Name the emotion. We want to know why. Why are you too shy? We want to know. When you say this is anger, this is fear, this is pressure, you strip the emotion of the confusion that is attached to it. The brain shifts from reaction to clarity. You begin even to explain yourself better to yourself. Okay? The emotional charge will drop because you have identified the emotion instead of wrestling with the fog. Okay? So name your emotions. A leader who cannot identify what they feel, they will be led by what they feel. If you name it, you will realize that it is too shameful to lead you. If you're an angry person and you don't name the anger and say, I'm an angry person, you might think that your anger makes people follow you. No, it intimidates people to follow you. But once you say, I am an angry person, you are ashamed to make people follow you using anger. You see? So you have qualified to be a better leader by naming the emotion. Because you cannot lead people. You cannot succeed through a hormonal imbalance. No, name the emotion. Let's see if it is an emotion we should be gathering around. Is it inspiring you? If it's not inspiring you, why should we be inspired by it? You see? So you have to name the emotion. Naming the feeling reduces its power by half. Once you name it, you gain the authority to guide it. So name the frustration. The fear of failure, name those emotions. Is it an ego hit? Name it. Are you having an imposter signal? Name it. Do you feel overwhelmed? Name it. What are the emotions that surge in your life? What are the ones that you have noticed? Name them, write them down. What are the emotions that fill your life? Name them, because we want to identify them so that we can handle them. Number 5, you need to build a pre-crisis ritual. You have to build a pre-crisis ritual. A lot of people react emotionally in crisis because they don't have a script of how to behave in crisis. A lot of people have not thought ahead of crisis how they will behave in case of a crisis. They don't have that script. So you have to build, we call it a pre-crisis ritual. Leaders do not break in crisis because the crisis is big. They break because they enter it unprepared. Are you prepared for a crisis? Crisis will come. I always say, schedule your pleasure, because problems always schedule themselves. Schedule your pleasure, because problems will always schedule themselves. Have you prepared for the problem? Because the problem will come. Pressure exposes your habits. If your habits are weak, your leadership collapses at the exact moment people need you to be steady. A pre-crisis ritual gives you structure when your emotions want to take over. You see? So your emotions step into place if the place is vacant. How do you fill the place? You define a ritual that you be, a pattern that you follow in case of crisis. It is a simple, repeatable sequence you follow. The moment there is pressure, or the moment you notice there is a spike of emotion. If there is an attack, if somebody insults you, if you don't have a template of how you handle that situation, then your emotions will begin to behave erratically, randomly, without warning. And they will put you in a situation of shame. So do you have a template? If there's a crisis, if you're called and told something, bad news, what is your template ahead of the crisis? Do you have a ritual? Let's, for instance, look at a simple one. Number 1, stabilize your body. Stabilize your body. Okay, slow your breathing, drop your shoulders. Oh, stop, panic, drop your shoulders. Steady your breathing. Stop. No, chill. Even if somebody has died, it's not you. You are alive. Practice your breathing. Because if you don't, very soon you will follow them. Chill. Ground your feet. Chill. Even if the world is ending, chill. Relax. Breathe in, breathe out. You cannot think well until your body stops signaling danger. Chill. Breathe normally, even if there is panic. Chill. Always be in control. Always. No matter what is happening. Always be in control. Number 2, identify the real problem. After you're steady and your mind is steady, the crisis is staring at you. Identify the real problem. What is the real problem? Don't handle 5 problems. There is one problem among the 5 that is causing the rest of the 4. Identify the real problem. Not the drama, not the noise, not the excuses. Identify the real thing. Ask one direct question. What is the actual issue here? What's the issue in this matter? What is the issue? What's the issue? Something is going, something here. There's something here. What is it? Pinpoint it. This cuts through panic and brings clarity. The crisis is still there, but you're not in crisis. You've managed to remove yourself from the crisis. And now the crisis and you are 2 separate entities. And then from there, choose your response from values, not emotions. Now you choose how to respond. By the time you're doing this, it's past 90 seconds. Now you choose from a set of values how to respond. So if there was a guy who was insulting you, racial profiling, Now you choose from your values. You begin to remind yourself, when they go low, you go higher. Values kick in. Instead of punching the guy and giving a pink eye, now you're responding from values, not emotions. Why? Because you have stabilized your body, identified the real problem, and now you're choosing your response. Any reaction driven by panic, ego, or anger will cost you. But any response anchored in values will protect your reputation, your relationships, your influence, and while in crisis, elevate you to the top. People will remember how you solved that problem. People will remember how you solved that problem. Imagine if the soldiers who were spitting at Jesus, it was a very emotional thing at Calvary. Each of those things that were done to Jesus, imagine if it was you. The people you created, they are pulling your beard and insulting you. And they're throwing a spear at you. How would you respond? Each one of those pain points, each one of those emotional surges elicited a reaction from Jesus. But while the spear was in his side, he was stabilizing his body, identifying the real problem called sin, and choosing values with which to respond from. The Bible says, like a lamb to the slaughter, he was led to the cross. He responded with the spear in his body from values, not emotions. Imagine being killed by the people you created. Imagine being God, who is the giver of life, being killed and accepting to die. Do you know how much it takes to control that level of power? It's called emotional regulation. That is what makes leadership. That is why Jesus is the King of Kings. Not because he won a war with a gun, but because he regulated himself. The Bible says, you have not withstood sinners to the point of death, but Jesus did. The Bible says in the book of Hebrews, chapter 4, he was tested and tempted in all ways, at all points, as we are, yet without sin. Jesus is so powerful, not because he conquered people, because he destroyed things, no, but because he controlled himself. And the Bible says he has reconciled all things unto himself. You see that? See, let me tell you, the test of power is not to use power. The test of power is to have power and not use it when you need to use it. The best policeman is the one who can stay with a gun all his police career and never shoot somebody. In our country, somebody just retired the other day, a police commissioner. And this was his speech in his retirement day. He said, I'm retiring. That means he had been in the force probably for about over 40 years. And then I'll never forget, he said this. He's called Ken Mayo. He said this. I have never shot somebody. A police commissioner. He's saying, in my career, I have never shot anybody. Yet, he retired as the police commissioner. The most powerful person in the country. So the gun is not the power. The self-control is the power. The most powerful police commissioner who has never shot anybody. You see that? I'm teaching you the reverse psychology of how to control things, how to be on top of the game. Regulate your nervous system. Number 6, protect your energy like an investment. Every leader has a limited amount of internal energy each day. Once you spend it, your clarity begins to drop your patience begins to drop, and your performance begins to drop. Okay? You have a certain portion, percentage, concentration of energy each day. And once that quarter is spent, your clarity begins to drop, your patience begins to drop, and your performance as well begins to drop. Most young leaders lose energy not through work, but through emotional leakage. They drain themselves through conflict, through overthinking, through comparisons, through people pleasing, through unresolved issues. That's how your energy leaks. So you have to treat your energy like an investment. You do not give it away cheaply. You do not waste your energy on noise. You invest your energy where it grows. Stop overthinking. That is wasted energy. Stop comparing yourself with people. That is wasted energy. Stop pleasing people. They don't like you anyway, and they will never like you. Please stop wasting your energy trying to make people like you. Never buy anything to impress people who do not notice you. That is wasted energy. Stop being in conflict. Don't be a person always in war, at war, conflicted with people, always solving issues. No. That is wasted energy. You're not investing your energy wisely. So track your daily energy leakage and begin to mend it. Who is it that drains you? What conversations drain you? What habits drain you? What environments sap your energy out? Emotional energy leakage happens through those dramas. Avoid them. Avoid drama. From today, I don't want to see any one of you in any kind of drama. You are better than that. We need that energy to make decisions, to advance our lives, to have happy relationships and marriages and homes and successful businesses. So call out what weakens you and be very ruthless about it. Call it out. Call it out. A leader with strong energy carries weight. Weight. Always know where to use your energy. Okay? And lastly, your first call in pressure moments must be to your principles, not to your emotions. Your first call must be to your principles, not to your emotions. When there's pressure, your emotions will want to drive your life. I guarantee you that. Your emotions will want to. Many people are in mistakes today because emotions overrode what a moment shouldn't have been. Many people, they are living through repercussions because an emotion took over a decision instead of pausing and waiting to think through it. So they will push you, the emotions, toward quick reactions, those defensive words and choices that feel right in the moment, but they will damage your long-term game. This is where a lot of people fail, and I don't want you to fail. I want you to succeed. Principles are like guardrails. When you stand on a balcony, they are guardrails that protect you from falling. That is what principles do. I want to ask you, do you have principles? What are your principles? Angie, are you a principled woman? What are your principles? What are your principles? You have to have principles. You cannot be, you have to say as a woman, I'm not gonna be in any car alone with a boy. Ever. I have to have somebody else. Okay? I'm not gonna be alone with a boy in my room. Never. That's a principle. Okay? That's a principle. You can say, as a principle, I'm not going to borrow to buy clothes. That's a principle. You have put a principle. Those principles are important. What is your list of principles? When emotions spike, it is your principles that keep you steady When panic tries to push you, your principles will slow you down. Listen to me. Principles will get you through the next 20 years, while people without principles will be in a wilderness for the next 20 years. And principles can pay you and reward you in another 15 years in a way that people who had accumulated money in those 15 years and had no principles, they would never get the same kind of reward. Because of your principles, you will go far in life. In fact, God looks at how principled people are before he entrusts them with blessing. Why would God give you a responsible woman if you are a womanizer? You have no principles. Why would God give you a good husband if you're a crazy woman with no principles? Why? What God brings into your life, you have to qualify yourself for it through principles, guardrails. When anger pushes you to say something reckless, principles will pull you back into alignment. So build a small set of leadership principles around yourself that guard your behavior no matter what you feel. Say, for instance, I stay respectful in conflict. I choose clarity over speed. I listen before I reply. I listen. By then, you don't have to answer every phone call. You can say, I'll respond to that later. I want to think through it. You don't have to respond to every SMS. No. Take 2-3 days. Hey. By then, train your people. Excuse me. Train people around you that you respond when you're okay. You're not under pressure. Okay? So protect your relationships even when you're under pressure. Be loyal as a principle. Be faithful as a principle. Be dependable. Is it your personal principle to be dependable? The leaders who follow emotions, they create damage. But the leader who follows principles creates trust. You see that? We're going to do until 7, but the notes in the school portal will go up to 10. I want you to go and study the rest of the 3, excuse me. Study the rest of the 3. Do the assignment. This is a very, very, very important lesson for all of us to learn. Okay? Did you learn something? Did you learn something? Did you learn something? Did you learn something? Did you enjoy the class today? If I was somewhere teaching this lesson, I would be charging probably £1,000 for 1 hour for a class of 20 people. Facts. You're getting this for free. Please practice it. If I was training this somewhere for a class of 20 people for 1 hour, they would all collectively pay me about £1,000 for 1 hour. So appreciate this and work it out. This is premium content. Premium. This is premium content. I'm telling you things that can save your life. I'm telling you things that can save your children, can save your great-grandchildren. Teaching you like 90-second rule can save generations through you. I'm elevating you as an influencer for your generation. Once you know how to position yourself, life will bend at your feet. Okay? Yes. I want to hear, what have you learned? What have you learned today? I want to hear, what have you learned today? I want to hear, what have you learned today? Let's begin probably with Hagar. Let's start with Hagar. Hagar, what did you learn? Am I here? Yeah.
I know that people stop like generations, like for example, you can stop the husband,
in your family or within your friendship for generation from generation through like your actions by either waiting 90 minutes to respond or by creating a different pathway. Additionally, I also learned that your emotions, the way you handle stuff, also like allow you to become either a leader or a follower to like things that people have already put out for you. Yeah.
90 seconds, not 90 minutes. 90
Yeah,
seconds.
90 seconds.
90-second rule, okay? 90 seconds. Just 90 seconds. And your life changes dramatically. Sharon, what have you learned?
Hi, Dad. I learned today my key takeaway was emotional regulation, learning to regulate your emotions and how important it is to actually have that self-control over your emotions. And yeah, that was my key takeaway today, Dad.
Ah, great. Okay. Make sure you study all the notes and pick all those principles. Internalize them. You'll need them sometime. Angie, what did you learn?
I learned that principles are like guardrails and that they pull you back to alignment.
Beautiful. That is awesome. Lenny, are you there? What did you learn?
I learned about emotional regulation, about how much 90 seconds of thinking before you act can change the outcome of a situation.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. I think today everybody has learned something wonderful. Please practice it. Keep these notes. They'll help you. I'm also looking forward to one of these days, from this class. I'd love to travel with some of you when we are doing these trainings across the world. Maybe we'll do this training with you in Nigeria. Maybe we'll travel with one of you to South Africa to go and do this training to other young people. There's a reason why God has put you in this class, so that you can be able to learn these things and practice them. And when we go there, you'll be my backup team. You'll be adding a point here and there and adding a point here and there. Amen. Okay. So we love you so much. Thank you for allowing me to extend by 1 minute. Father, I thank you for these people. Bless them. Thank you for giving us a wonderful class today. We appreciate you and we love you. In Jesus' mighty name. Amen. Thank you, guys. Next week, we have one class next week. We will have one class next week. And then the remaining 2 classes, we will have them in the month of January. And our admin will communicate to you the 2 dates. One should be the 15th, and then the previous, I think it's the 8th. Okay, we'll have 2 in January. So we'll have one more class and then we break. So after next week, we will break. So next week, we are here, same time, same place. And then we take the break until January the 8th and the 15th. And then we graduate on the 25th. God bless you. We love you.